So here's a little video on alternate angles. And you find alternate angles where you have parallel lines and a line that cuts across them, often called a transversal. You don't really need to worry about that. So here I've shown some alternate angles. And they're alternate angles because they're on alternate sides of the transversal. One's to the left and one's to the right. And they're on alternate sides of the parallel lines. One is below and one is above. Okay, and what we need to know about alternate angles is they are equal, and often people will talk about a Z shape. Okay, so you can imagine a sort of Z shape here. Okay, and you can find them in that Z shape, but you cannot use that terminology in an exam. Okay, you must call them alternate angles or you won't get the mark. Okay, so here's another little diagram, and you can see that here I've marked in red these alternate angles here. Okay, but if I think about this backward Z shape here, then D and E would also be alternate angles. And they would be the same size. So D is equal to E and C is equal to F. Okay, so in the most simple exam questions, what they would do is they would give you a question like this and say, work out the size of the angle marked Y and give a reason for your answer. Okay, so the angle marked Y is 60 degrees. And the reason for that is, they are alternate angles. So you've got to just be able to recognize what you're looking for. So we've got our parallel lines, a line going across, and these are in our Z shape, although we're never going to say that. Okay, and we've got our Z shape there, and we can see that those would be alternate angles. They're on alternate sides of the transversal, okay, and they would be equal to each other. They might want to then put in a few other things to try and trick you. Okay, so here we need to find the missing angle X. So again, on any diagram, remember if it says not to scale, we wouldn't try and measure anything. Okay, but we can always draw on our shape. So if I put in this here, I know that that there is the alternate angle to that one. Because there's my Z shape that I'm not going to mention, but I just look out for that. Okay, so I can then see here that 100 is going to be equal to this angle here. So the option here in the multiple choice question would be that B would be 30 degrees. Okay, and again, in a slightly different context, and you might need to use other angle facts as you're going along. Okay, so always put on all the angles that you know. Okay, so here I can see I've got my alternate angle there. Okay, so there's my alternate angle. Okay, so that angle there is going to be 70 degrees. And then I look out for other things that could help me. So that and that tell me that this is an isosceles triangle. And we know that angles in an isosceles triangle, we've got two that are the same at the bottom of the sides that are the same length. So that there is going to be 70 degrees. And then I need to use another angle fact. Okay, angles along a straight line add up to 180 degrees. And so this angle here is going to be 180 minus 70, which is 110 degrees. So a few angle facts might be need to use alongside. Okay, now here we might be using alternate angles to see if lines are parallel to each other. Okay, so we're told here that the line AB and CD are parallel. Okay, so we know that we'd have alternate angles here. In order to get the alternate angle to 78, I'd need to draw this line backwards there. So that angle there we know is 78 degrees because we know these are parallel. So we're going to get our alternate angles that are going to be equal. And we need to decide if EF is parallel to CD. Okay, so what we need to think about, well, if EF was parallel to CD, then these two here will be alternate angles. Okay, so if they were parallel, that would be 32 degrees. So if that line was parallel to that one, those would both be 32 degrees. And then if I have a look up here, okay, 32 add 78 is 110 degrees, which is not the same as 115 degrees. Okay, so that means that this part of the angle here cannot be 32, which means that EF and CD are not parallel to each other. So EF is not parallel to CD. Okay, so we might be using it to find out which lines are parallel or to see if a line is parallel or not. Thank you.